Welcome to the amazing world of equivalent fractions. Please follow all safety rules and do not pet the bunnies. Today, we're going to let Ziggy get us started. You ready, Ziggy? Whenever you're ready, Ziggy. Anytime, Ziggy. Just let me know. Well, okay. This is awkward. I guess we'll just get started and maybe Ziggy will catch up with us later. The nice thing about fractions is they can be almost whatever you want them to be. Have 3/4, but you want something else? Okay. You can disguise 3/4 a lot of different ways. By finding equivalent fractions using the identity property. The identity property says, for multiplication and division, says when you multiply a number by 1, the original number gets to keep its identity. You're not changing the original number's identity. 7 times 1, still 7. 8 times 1, still 8. Same with division. 7 divided by 1, still 7. 8 divided by 1, still 8. And it works the same with fractions. If you are multiplying or dividing any number, whole number or fraction, by 1, the original number keeps its identity. It doesn't change the original numbers or fractions' identity. With whole numbers, they even look the same. 7 times 1 still looks exactly like 7. 8 times 1 still looks exactly like 8. With fractions, they might look different, but they actually have the same value. You are not changing that fraction's identity if you multiplied or divided by a form of 1. What does 1 look like in fractions? Well, anytime the numerator and denominator are the same number, that's a form of 1. That means we can change 3/4 into 6/8 if we need to, because 3/4 times 2/2, which is a form of 1, equals 6/8. And since we multiplied by a form of 1, I know 3/4 and 6/8 are equivalents. Have 2/8 but need something else? You can change it. Okay, not into that. And not you either, Ziggy. But you can change 2/8 into 1/4 because 2/8 can be divided by 2/2. And that would give you 1/4. You just divided by a form of 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. That means 2/8 and 1/4 are equivalent. They're just different ways of saying the same thing. They have the exact same value. Do this if you think these fractions are equivalent. You're doing this? You're right! They're equivalent. Because to get from 1/2 to 3/6, you could take 1 times 3 to get to the 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So that means you multiplied by a form of 1. You multiplied by 3/3 to get from 1/2 to 3/6. Do this if you think these fractions are equivalent. To decide if two fractions are equivalent, you need to decide how they got from one fraction to the other fraction. And if they multiplied or divided by a form of 1 to get there, they're equivalent. In this case, 1 times 3 would get us to 3, but 2 times 2 would take us to 4. So that's not a form of 1. They multiplied by 3/2 or 3/2, not 1. They are not equivalent fractions. Do this if you think these fractions are equivalent. That's right, they're equivalent. because if you divide 6/8 by 2 over 2, which is a form of 1, then you get 3/4. 6 divided by 2 is 3, 8 divided by 2 is 4. Do this if you think these fractions are equivalent. Hope you're not scratching, because those are not equivalent. 6 divided by 6 will get us to 1, but will 8 divided by 6 take us to 4? Nope, then they're not equivalent. If you can't divide the numerator and denominator by the same number, then you're not going to get an equivalent fraction. I hope that helps you to understand equivalent fractions. That's all there is for today, but feel free to subscribe to my channel and hang around with Ziggy and see how long it takes her to finally jump off that chair. She does eventually jump off the chair, I promise. See you next time. There she goes. See you next time. Bye-bye.